Akwa Ibom State Media Chart is deliberately organized to ascertain the service delivery of Akwa Ibom State government. His Excellency Governor Udom Emmanuel is 1 year in office in his second term. Well, in his first term, he clearly spelled out his 5-point agenda. And in this second term, he is looking at the completion agenda. All in order to enhance human capacity development. One cardinal aspect of service delivery is the civil service. And to handle this very important department is none other than Elder Effiong Essien. He is the head of civil service at Akwa Ibom State. Sworn in a year ago, this man is vested with the responsibility of liaising with the civil servants and give feedback to the executive. When I return from the break, I'll be speaking with him to ascertain how the civil service welfare, vis-a-vis the working capacity, is being taken care of. My name is Samson Akwa, aka Politics Today. Don't go away.
Oh yes, Governor Udom Emmanuel's administration that is people-oriented, vested in capacity, embodied with superior performance and rendered on integrity has attracted global commentaries and attention. The Americans said it, even the military confirms.
We are here following the wonderful success story that are emanating from your...
Our own Vice President relocates.
So when I think of a second home, of course, Akwa Ibom is a good place.
China has joined. Are you an investor or entrepreneur? The 21-story intelligent building, good road network, well-equipped hospitals scattered all over the state with a world-class airline, 18 functional industries and still counting. These and many more are the reason we invite you. Come, live, work and invest in Akwa Ibom. Be part of the completion agenda. Only God. Powered by the Ministry of Information, Akwa Ibom State.
Welcome back. Civil servants play a pivotal role in any economy. Well, in some states, they've been described as a civil service state, owing to the fact that some of the states in the country lacks the capacity for industrialization. Well, in Akwa Ibom State, the case is quite different. It is a mix. The introduction of industrialization by His Excellency has also measured up the civil service and the private sector simultaneously. But in the Akwa Ibom State, much regard is being given to civil service because they are also working for government to succeed. And that's the very essence. His Excellency is putting so much concern in that sector. And the deployment of a one-time permanent secretary who has moved on to become the head of civil service was geared towards repositioning that civil service. And so the gentleman I've been talking about, an elder in a church and also a committed civil servant, #1 in that sector, Akwa Ibom State, is Elder Effiong Essien. So it's good to have you on the program today.
Thank you very much, Sammy.
Putting so much years in the service, you still look young. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I would say that is a gift of God because He creates every one of us differently, and God has been faithful concerning my health. If you don't have good health, you don't have good look, and that has been God's stream.
When you were announced on the 31st of May 2019 that you're going to be the next head of civil service, how did you feel?
it was a moment of mixed feeling. Excited that I am appointed head of civil service. And the other aspect was I was not aware that I could become the head of civil service so soon. So there was that mixed feeling of joy and at the same time looking ahead what to expect being the head of the civil service of Akwa State.
Okay, let's get to the big one. You were drafted into the civil service in order to reposition it. Let's look at the word repositioning. Let's look at where civil service was before His Excellency and where it is now.
Yeah, thank you for that very important question. The civil service is a system that is well founded. Over the years, it has gone through processes of repositioning, reforms, and at every point in time, there is the need to reform the system, to reposition the system, to rejig the system. So the civil service is going through that process of reform and repositioning to attain perfection under the watch of His Excellency the Governor. And as soon as he appointed me as the head of the civil service, I went on a familiarization tour of the MDAs, that is the ministry, departments, and agencies of government to see things for myself. And in that process, I discovered so many things that there were issues of ineffectiveness. There was that issue of application of professionalism in day-to-day function of the works of the civil servant. And there was that also issue of low productivity, low capacity and low productivity. And to be able to address these issues, I needed to take some proactive actions. And one of which was to headhunt, because the system, the civil service system has very rich human capacity to headhunt for good technocrats, good hands, and form a team around myself so that we can develop a repositioning plan. We can have a repositioning framework for the civil service. And it did not take long. We were able to come up with a document, a repositioning plan, a policy framework for the repositioning of the civil service. And these have been presented to the State Executive Council, who received the documents with joy. And the State Executive Council have been discussing and looking into this document with a view to implementing very vital and important policy plans within the document. And I want to say that we have started in some of the recommendations of the plan, one of which is application of technology in improving efficiency in the civil service. And we have worked out also document and modality of applying technology in the works of the office. That means computerization of processes of the civil service, so that so many things that have been done with that bureaucratic bottleneck and ineffective in approach will be addressed. And as we speak, the State Executive Council, chaired by His Excellency the Governor of Akwa State, Udom Emmanuel, had approved that we apply technology to improve on the civil service, and but for the COVID-19 lockdown, that process of computerization of system in the civil service would have been would have gone far by now, and it's the management information system in the civil service, human resources management system that I'm talking about, that we needed to introduce in the service so as to reposition it, so as to increase its effectiveness. And these, you can realize that there are so many benefits that the system, the service, would derive from such a management process, management information system. When you take, for instance, assuming one asks for nominal roll or the list of workers in the state, it would take a very long bureaucratic process of releasing circular to MDAs to prepare the nominal roll, and at the same time when you collect them, there will still be mistakes and incomplete information, whereas an automated system through computerization would be able to give such information within a twinkle of an eye and with a higher level of accuracy. And another one is even with the pension system. Sometimes you hear pensioners being invited for verification because pensioners, they come in and so they move into the pension platform, and some of them retire. Some of them die, and they're supposed to be removed from the platform, the payroll. And to achieve this, they have to, from time to time, be gathered for verification that are still alive. And such processes would have been made much more effective and efficient through automation of the payroll, the pension payment system, and through maybe a very seamless process of those people doing the biometrics and verifying these biometrics from time to time. So this, His Excellency, the Governor of Akwa State, has really prepared his mind and is not making any mistake, in directing the civil service to be repositioned for efficiency, for effective service delivery, and for maximum productivity. The era of the service being only process-oriented should be over. We should be looking at the service also being result-oriented, so that the delivery is measured and can be addressed better.
Okay, we're going to do a short break. When we come back, we're looking at the issue of carrying files. His Excellency said no, it's going to be automated and nobody will be sitting on your files anymore, except there's an error in the computer. I'll be right back after the break. Please don't go away. Welcome back. Yes, the head of civil service Akwa State, Elder Effiong Essien, is on my hot seat. And of course, these days people are talking about salary, pension, gratuity. But let's set the tempo first. Let's get to see the internal working mechanism, the restructuring pattern of this government, such that you will not be left out. Yes, Elder. You were talking about restructuring, and in any automated system, you perhaps you may end up downsizing the workforce because you have the computer. One person can do what about 10 or 5 people can do at the same time. Is that the kind of restructuring you're looking at?
Thank you very much. His Excellency the Governor is not looking at downsizing the workforce. He's not looking at that. And the human resource management system that I talked about as a way of repositioning the civil service is not also looking at that. That is not the primary focus of that system. Rather, the system is to break the work of the civil servants into measurable pieces that you can assign one officer responsibility that you can press him on. Call a schedule of duty. You break the work into measurable bits, not just one person taking up so much and other people are just hanging around. So instead of one person taking up everything and being the do and the all of it, his responsibility will be broken down into measurable actions, activities that are given to others, so that every person has his own schedule, and his own schedule can be measured through the human resource management system.
Okay, still on automated system, because I was of the opinion that, hardly before you'll be hearing stories that civil servant will sit on somebody's file, one is due for promotion, nothing is happening because perhaps he or she has 1 or 2 problems with some other person. With the automated system, can we really curtail some of these lapses?
Yes, as you have rightly said, the automation of the civil service system through the human resource management system is to curtail all those lapses in the system. And like I said before, the system is not intended to reduce the workforce. Rather, it's to make the workforce more efficient and to bring out more productivity from the system. Because when you apply the system, for instance, at the moment the payroll system has been automated. That's why you're able to have the regular payment of salary. Before you know it, as soon as money is there, it hits the bank accounts of workers through regular payment of salary. And this has been one yearning of His Excellency. The system works just like even the private sector works effectively. The public service, the public service of the state should also be effective. And one good thing about this is also to meet up with his one point of his Ibom agenda, that is the human capacity development. The system is to be installed by a consultant, but training is vital component of the engagement of the consultant. Okay. That he trains the civil servants to own the system at the end of configuration and installation of the system. The civil servants are to own the system, they are to operate the system. And this is a way of capacity building of the civil servants. Times are changing. They change everywhere. Even this COVID-19 has given us another round of development, new system. People are talking about virtual conferencing now. Probably if our capacity are well developed, we'll be sitting here, you facing me, we're talking. You have been somewhere in your office, I'm here, and we're talking. And that's what technology has done. And His Excellency wants to apply technology in the workings of the civil service so that Akwa Ibom State, that he sees the tomorrow of it, the future of it, the civil service will not be left behind in the scheme of things. Again, in terms of manpower, our visionary governor, His Excellency the Governor Udom Emmanuel, has recently approved an appointment of over 600 medical workers and allied personnel have been employed and deployed in the state civil service. As if by His Excellency the Governor knew that COVID-19 is coming. This appointment came just before the onset of the COVID-19 into the state. And these medical personnel have contributed immensely in the containment of the contagious COVID-19 disease.
That's one of the vital aspects. We're talking about civil servants. Salary, gratuity, pension. His Excellency made it quite clear that he inherited a whole lot from the past administration. It is also on record that on assumption of office on 29th May 2015, His Excellency decided to play backlogs of pensions, arrears, and gratuity. But people are still complaining. We want to know which area of clearance did the governor took up. Because of reasons, the governor has come out clear to say that, come, what was left for me was over 30 billion naira, a huge sum of money. Considering the times that we are now, it will be very difficult to meet up. It takes a financial manager like Governor Udom Emmanuel to see what he can do in that direction. Most of the civil servants, especially teachers, are not happy. What are you doing in that direction?
Thank you very much. Records are there to show that His Excellency on assumption of office had to look at the areas of civil servants' entitlement. And in his good nature, he opted to pay leg arrears for up to 10 years. 10 years arrears of workers' pension and gratuity. When you hear people talk about those arrears still hanging, some of them have been due to maybe system failure, that there were pockets of cases that had problem in the time of processing that payment of the arrears. Yes, there's a record to show that maybe some years, a few people's outstanding arrears of pension and gratuity. But soon after he cleared that arrears, he has been consistent in payment of salaries, and also people retiring, moving from the monthly salary platform to pension platform, and payment of salary and pension has been going on simultaneously. As salaries are paid, pensions are equally paid. This is
How is it done? How is it done?
When money goes into the system for payment of salary, it also goes into is appropriated for payment of pension.
So there's no like delay as it used to be.
There's no delay because, like I talked about, repositioning of the system holistically. The payment platform has been automated. So it's very seamless for people to get their salary and at the same time also get their pension. So the system works effectively. And you hear of primary school teachers' pension and gratuity. You know, that system belongs to the local government system. It's not the state executive responsibility, from allocation that is the state received, or the governor received, to pay salaries and pensions of primary school teachers. It belongs to the third tier of government, that is the local government.
Yeah.
And the local government system has a joint account allocation committee that handles the money that comes into the local government system. They appropriate it for salary and for other entitlement of workers. So it behoves on that joint account system of the local government to prioritize payment of these entitlements to worker. However, His Excellency, as a governor, as a father of the state, from time to time intervenes in the system, the local government system, and make money available to support payment of entitlements, to support payment of salaries to primary school teachers that are under the local government. And it's expected that that local government system would look at the plight of the workers and ensure that they make provision. They have an arrangement that they are able to pay workers' salaries and other entitlements as I went to, just like His Excellency the Governor is doing at the state level.
Okay, let's quickly talk about something, because a lot of people want to ask, why is it that Akwa Ibom State did not go for bailout fund? Yet most times you are the first state to pay salaries. I remember last month, salary came over the 25th. Even during the first, struggle with COVID-19, His Excellency was able to pay Akwa Ibom workers on the 25th, of April. Tell me, why did Akwa Ibom State's government refuse to go for bailout when other states were trooping in Abuja to ask for bailout fund, considering the fact that there are certain things we're talking about gratuity that are yet to be settled?
His Excellency the Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Udom Emmanuel, is a blessing to Akwa Ibom State at times like this. Looking at the issue of the bailout fund, he did look at he's an economist, he's a financial expert. He had looked at the implications of such a bailout fund.
Yes.
How it would affect the resources of the state. Bailout fund is not a grant. It's a loan that you have to repay. And sometimes when you take a loan, when you take facility, it would do immediate things for you, but it would affect the things that you would have done in the future. So, as a financial expert, as a good economist, he had looked at the implication that it would have adverse effect to the state. That's why he rejected that offer and looked at other measures that would enable the state still meet its financial obligations and still move forward without entangling itself with such a loan or facility system.
Okay, when I come back from the break, we're looking at training and retraining of civil servants. This is one of the aspects that people have been saying, come on, civil servants. Some of them are working like nurses. You go to government hospitals, you see the lackadaisical attitude of nurses. And so how can we play down? Let them have human feelings. Let them not walk in anger. How can they walk in happiness? Training. I remember at a point, health service that Akwa Ibom had introduced some sort of best civil servant of the year. They will be given a vehicle and some of this. You will be answering this when I come back from the break. Please don't go away. Yes, importantly, training and retraining of civil servants. Because like you're saying now, when finally you're on automated system, it will require some level of technical know-how. The civil servant should sit down, computerize, get to know you don't make mistakes with the figures. Unlike the one you're writing in the file, you use the eraser to erase it. This one, for instance, it would be wrong for somebody like me. Some people might think is a blessing. Somebody making salary twice in a month just because you made a mistake on what to type. Tell me, training and retraining of civil servants. What do you intend to do about that? As this calls for repositioning is very important.
Yes, training of civil servants is a very important policy component of repositioning of the civil service. Training in this case is not going to be what it used to be, fanfare kind of training. Through the repositioning process, we are talking of strategic training. Training people to meet the needs of the state service. As we speak, trainings have been taking place, although it's not taken into the fanfare. Someone will just claim it's by right to be trained, and he goes for the training and comes back without you having the benefits of the training in the system, without applying the knowledge gained in the system. So training, as far as the administration of His Excellency, the Governor Udom Emmanuel is concerned, is all about strategic training. As we speak, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, medical personnel have been trained as appropriate to contain the virus pandemic. And not long ago, in this office, we have trained drivers on defensive driving. Not long ago, also, from this office, we have trained accounting personnel on best practices in accounting.
Yeah.
So these are strategic when you find a particular area and the need, to fill the gap that existed. You send people for training. And we're also emphasizing in-house training. Train the trainer. When one person goes for training, he should come back and train others. If you have knowledge, you should train the ones who are under you. And by so doing, the training is expanding. And the application of technology will also bring another round of strategic training of the workers in areas that they have not been messed with before now. So training and retraining is a continuous process in the repositioning plan of the service.
Let's get to another one. Very big point, sir. When they said, when His Excellency gave a statewide broadcast, and we granted a media charter like this, people are called to ask, with this COVID-19, the economy is down, things are not working, are you going to slash salaries of civil servants? The governor said, no. Civil servants, you don't treat them with levity. You just got to sit down the years and so on and so on. Is there anything in the pipeline as regards civil servants' salary?
As far as civil servants' salary is concerned, it's an entitlement. It's an entitlement. Every worker deserves his own wage. So the COVID-19 pandemic and the associated problem and economic downturn that we have not only a Ibom state, in the country and worldwide.
Yeah.
It requires some proactive measures, some actions, people having to show concern about others and making sacrifices that everybody lives. So His Excellency, with the difficulty, you have already said it, that he pays the salary. Even when there was a total lockdown, workers were not in office, he paid salary. And last month, May, the salary has already been paid in full new minimum wage scale. So His Excellency is a father, and not just a father, a listening father. That's why, as far as the civil service is concerned, as far as workers' welfare is concerned, we always describe him as the worker-friendliest governor. He will not touch on the salary of the workers except through negotiation. And we have a standing committee on salaries and wages of workers, and that is a committee that handles the new minimum wage. We reconvened, the committee reconvened to look at the present economic situation, and the organized labor were invited to the meeting, and we all brainstormed. The meeting is between the government side and the organized labor side. We brainstormed on the situation at hand, where the state has to be giving palliative to the poorest of the poor in a society, where corporate organizations are making one contribution or donation to the state government towards containing the coronavirus, and everybody contributing in one way or the other. The organized labor, saw the situation. They sympathized with the situation. They sympathized with the governor. They were, contemplating along with us what they can do, the sacrifice that the workers willingly, can make towards helping the less privileged, that those who are worse than the lowest paid worker in the service. So we're all contemplating what could be done to support and to make sacrifice towards the situation. I want to tell you that even the labor leader said, even if it comes to the relinquishing the check-up dues, they could do it. So that shows concern about the system. But it will not be by force, it will be by simple agreement with the system, and seeing the need to make that sacrifice. Because sacrifice is not something, it's something that you do to be able to achieve something or to gain a better thing.
Okay, let's get to the one that I know a lot of people watching you now will have their heart crossed. Next of kin. Sometimes when on radio, people will call you, my father died so time, and we're supposed to have collected, what belongs to my father, and so on and so forth. What is really the problem with the issue of next of kin? Now that you are repositioning the civil service, what should be the most important aspect, especially when next of kin is concerned? Because some of them sometimes don't go for screening, sometimes they don't really know who's supposed to take charge of this man or woman that is no more. Please enlighten the people once more.
And next of kin of those retirees, the public servants who retired and they were enjoying their pension and they died, and some of them who may not have collected their gratuities. By this system, the civil service system, it is the next of kin that is on record, on government record, on establishment record, that are entitled to collect those entitlements that were due to their parents or their relations while they were still alive. They died without collecting them. And we have a nagging situation within the retired primary school teachers system, the next of kin of retired primary school teachers. So it still boils down to the issue of autonomy of the local government that I said, that is responsible for payment of salaries and entitlements, gratuities, and pensions to the retired and even the late workers. So we still boil down to what I said before. We pray that the local government system will be able to live up to its expectation and at all times try to also up the welfare of these retirees in their priorities while allocating funds within that system.
Yes, local government, right now there's an executive order for them to have their allocation directly from the federal location. Is the federal government also assisting local governments who pay teachers salary, especially the primary school teachers, because it's been a cry. People are complaining seriously. If you go to the local community, they say they have not been paid. Sometimes not really salary, their pensions, their gratuity, and so on and so forth. Who is supposed to pay local government retirees their salary, their gratuities?
That's what I said before, that this payment ought to come from the local government, the allocation that the local government receive, and make appropriation for other things. Salary and pensions and gratuities are part of the responsibility, the payment responsibility of that system. And it behoves on them, if the allocation to the system is not adequate to meet the demand of these salaries and gratuities, it behoves on them to make position known to the federal government and to the system to be able to do that which they ought to do. We all sympathize with those retirees and the next of kin who are still languishing, looking for their own entitlements.
What do you do? Because we're talking about repositioning, there must be discipline. In the past, civil servants hardly go to work in time and on time too. Some of them, even when going to work, will use that opportunity to sell one or two things. I have personally witnessed them selling clothes in different secretariats. I have personally witnessed some of them hawking some things in the secretariat. Repositioning and discipline should be a cardinal factor of giving a proper workforce that will enhance effective service delivery to the state governments. Repositioning should also give a standing rule and order. What are you doing in that direction?
In terms of repositioning to curtail indiscipline in service, we have also entrenched that in the repositioning policy, and we have started working. I've reinvigorated the Public Service Monitoring Committee, and they go out frequently to monitor what is happening in the MDS, how they report to work, how they stay at work, how they keep the work environment clean, and other things, and report to me. And from time to time, I also joined that monitoring committee to do inspection. About 3rd of March, I was at the State Secretariat to see how my workers are responding to the good gesture of His Excellency the Governor when they have received salaries with arrears and other welfare packages of His Excellency the Governor. I was there to see how they are responding to it. To my disappointment, some of them were still taking things the way they used to. They were still trying to do business as usual. I frowned seriously at it. I had to take attendance from one MBA to the other, seize the time book, came to this office and analyzed them, and directed the MDAs to query all those who were not, because I was there by 9 o'clock and stayed there for about 30 to 1 hour, 30 minutes to 1 hour, which is expected that everybody should have been on his duty post at that time. So I directed that all those who were not on duty post by that time be queried.
Welfare, housing, because in time past, state government or federal government will build a certain estate and allocate them to civil servants. Maybe reduct money every month from them. What is the Governor Udom Emmanuel administration doing towards this? We shall be talking about that when I return from the break. Don't go away. Welcome back. Yes, we're talking about staff welfare. Like I did ask my guests to think about it. It's very important. You should also understand now that His Excellency has directed that everybody, irrespective of your status in the society, you need to go back to the farm. Because civil servant, if you go to the farm, get small farm support, from different ministries and so on and so forth. It's not just the Ministry of Agri alone. But let's get to some of the staff welfare as it regards housing. Yes, Head of Civil Service, let's look at what used to happen in the past. His Excellency said he's going to bring that back, where civil servants will have the opportunity to, enjoy low housing scheme. Some who, like at your level, will be going for high housing scheme, and so on and so forth. Tell me much about this.
Yeah, thank you very much. The civil servant called His Excellency the Governor, the worker-friendliest governor. Of all the sector of the people of the state, His Excellency thought of the workers first, how they can have affordable houses, affordable housing scheme for the civil servant. That's why he facilitated the construction of the housing estate, two of them, one in Ibom, along off the Road,
okay,
at a community called Ibom, which shares the boundary with Akwa. So that housing estate is constructed by APICO, which is also an agency of the state government, so that civil servants can have access to low-cost houses. Then there's the second one at Ibom, opposite the University of Youth Teaching Hospital, in a community called sub-community there. And these two housing estates, since I came in, I have been increasing the pace, pushing the developers to increase the pace of work so that the workers before long can take benefit of that initiative of His Excellency the Governor of Akwa State. And this has paid off. These have yielded positive results.
Yes.
As we speak. Not less than 200 units of houses are available in those two estates. And circular had gone out to the civil servant to express interest and apply for an make payments to buy those, own and pay for those houses, rent to own, because when you pay a certain amount of money and you own the house, and as you live you pay until you liquidate the cost of the house that you have owned. So this has been a laudable welfare package for the workers of Akwa Ibom State that are on the way to owning their own houses, becoming landlords for themselves, not being tenants forever. So it's something that is good, and this office also partners or collaborates with the Federal Mortgage Bank for those who have already owned houses, who may want to do some renovation or refurbish their house. That federal financial institution, the Federal Mortgage Bank, gives a soft loan to those who are subscribers to the National Housing Scheme. You get some amount of 1 million, 2 million, as the case may be, even 500,000 to do some renovation work or refurbishment in your own house. So these are the welfare packages in terms of the housing that the government is also handling as welfare for the workers.
Okay.
And you know, welfare does not stop at the housing. The
Yes.
other welfare packages, that the government has delivered to the workers. And it's a good thing that the governor has done. Promotion of workers is also aware that the governor thinks about the workers, that they get their promotion as a well due, so that the financial benefit of that promotion can also add to the welfare of the workers to be able to deliver on their responsibilities. And other packages that His Excellency from time to time, as the need arises, to give to workers.
Civil service in the state used to have a kind of a reward package for a dedicated civil servant. I have witnessed a civil servant winning vehicle, motor car. Is that still in force?
Reward system in the service is a continuous process. And like you rightly said, that used to happen during Civil Service Day, which is usually celebrated, I think, in the month of June. And we have already made a request to His Excellency on this, but we cannot say because of this COVID-19.
Yes.
The priority of government has changed because of the downturn of the economy of the state. But we're still hopeful that as soon as things return to normality, that His Excellency the Governor would look at our request and allow us to celebrate the Civil Service Day, that we'll be able to do those things that you have talked about, look at performance and reward good performance of the civil servants.
Okay. The other aspects I wanted to also talk about, before I ask you a very pertinent question, where people say pay salary, they're due for their entitlement, pay salary is not achievement in the civil service. I know of some states who don't pay salary for close to 9 months, and is Akwa Ibom State owing civil servant salary?
As far as Governor Udom Emmanuel administration is concerned, Akwa Ibom State is not owing the civil servants of the main service salary.
Okay, you've heard that. Governor Udom Emmanuel don't play with the take-home pay of civil servants. And I want to find out, since Governor Udom Emmanuel came in, is there anything like strike protests that need to pay us, and so on and so forth?
I have been a civil servant for quite a while. Since His Excellency the Governor came in, I can't recall such happening in his period. And he's also working hard, listening to the organized labor, maintaining robust relationship with the organized labor to ensure that there is harmony in the workers-government relationship.
Okay, another one. You're not going to skip this one. This one is very important too. Do you give out loan to civil servants, like car loan and so on and so forth?
Yes, there are loans that are available for civil servant, car loans on application.
Okay.
The government will release money, to MDS for those who have applied to get as car loans, this loan. And I mentioned the other loan that they can get through the Federal Mortgage Bank for refurbishment of the houses. There's loan. But one thing I want to say about the loan, that's why I always advise the civil servants, don't rush at every available facility to loan, because that loan, will be taken from your salary. It's better that you take loan at the level that you still have something after paying doing the repayment plan of the loan. You still have something that can sustain your family, can make you comfortable to leave your house, go to office and return in terms of availability of transport money. But I know that some civil servants that rush at loan, every loan that is available, they collect. At the end of the day, they're insolvent, which I'm always advising them against being insolvent as a civil servant. In fact, it's part of the civil service rules. You have to maintain financial discipline so that you are not found wanting by way of not meeting your financial obligations.
Okay, as we get to the end of these media interactions, your relationship with the governor. You are a year now in the office as the head of service. Is Governor Udom Emmanuel somebody to work with?
Thank you very much. I think this is one of the most important questions since we started.
Okay.
His Excellency the Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Governor Udom Emmanuel, is a man that anybody should wish to work with. He's a leader that anybody should want to have. If you ever aspire to leadership, to work with as a leader, as the head of civil service, as a leader of the service, to work with somebody with superlative leadership qualities and style is something that anybody should aim for. And I count myself lucky and very privileged to work under him, because I've learned a whole lot of lessons from him. I've worked, which is application of Christian principles in leadership and in doing day-to-day activities. So I count myself lucky, and I enjoy, working under His Excellency the Governor.
Okay. Look to this camera and then talk to civil servants. Governor Udom Emmanuel is a year older. You're also a year older. A congratulatory message. Give them some sort of motivational speech. Let them keep on doing what they're doing. and someday will reap up from it.
And to my beloved workers, my hard-working workers, I want to say that the governor that you elected, His Excellency the Governor Emmanuel, is doing well. And we owe him that duty of reciprocating his good gestures as civil servants, as public servants. We have talked about the welfare packages he has released to workers in terms of housing, in terms of prompt payment of salary and other entitlements, in terms of releasing money for timely service examinations that will lead to promotion, that will lead to confirmation of appointment. His Excellency has done well for us, so it behoves on all of us to contribute our own quota towards the conclusion agenda of His Excellency, so that His Excellency, who is preparing this Akwa State for tomorrow, we would all enjoy that tomorrow along with him and other Akwa Ibomites.
Okay, that's it. At this point, you demonstrate to the civil servants at this period of COVID-19 for them to stay safe. You see, we be keeping social distancing. The very essence, we did not wear our face masks, but right now you have to wear it so that you demonstrate to your workers, those who perhaps see this as very uncomfortable, it is for a moment, so that they will not be found wanting with this pandemic that is ravaging the whole world. So, yes. Civil servants, let's stand up together, sir.
Okay.
Civil servants, all you need to do is to dress the way your boss is doing, go to work. Do not give your own face mask to some other person. It is your personal property. If it is like this one, that is a cloth material, you can wash it after work, dry it, iron it, and then reuse it the next day. Very importantly. But there's another one, the one they use in theater. You can as well, that one is, I think you use it for 2-3 hours and dispose of it. And so, listen to your boss as he educates you on the very important essence of the face mask.
Dear civil servants, I'm now kitted with my first mask. And I want you to recall that His Excellency the Governor of Akwa State has also kitted you, especially the junior workers, with this face mask. You recall that about a month ago, I came around distributing face masks that was made available through provision of His Excellency the Governor of Akwa State. You have to use your face mask. This COVID-19 is not something to joke with. It's real. It's affecting people. And you need to protect yourself. You need to wash your hands when you do not have hand sanitizer. You need to also follow through all other directives of the appropriate authority on prevention of this COVID-19. You also recall that during my tour of the ministries, I also undertook decontamination of the offices, and the office space is safe. The governor also has shown a whole lot of concern about the safety of the workers in terms of asking only 30% of the workers to return to work at the moment until further notice or directive on these. These are all geared towards ensuring that you are safe at your workplace. You are safe while serving the government of the state. Protect yourself. It's all for you. It's good for you to protect yourself.
Yes, on that very protective note, we want to thank someone who's been at the consult, the entire camera crew, and of course Sisong, who has been there as an editor. Well, we also want to appreciate the executive producer of the program, Ekere Todo, and the supervisor, Mr. Charles Udo, and the entire crew. God bless Akwa Ibom State. My name is Samson Akwa, aka Politics Today. Please stay safe. Bye-bye.
Here is a very important announcement. The Federal Ministry of Health has announced the presence of coronavirus, also known as COVID-19 in Nigeria. The coronavirus is highly contagious and has no cure. In order to protect yourself and others around you, please take note of the following precautionary measures against the virus. Wash your hands regularly with soap and running water or use alcohol-based hand sanitizers. Maintain 5 feet distance between yourself and anyone coughing or sneezing. Maintain a good respiratory hygiene, meaning that when coughing or sneezing, cover your mouth and nose with handkerchief or tissue or into your sleeve at bent elbow and then dispose of the used tissue immediately. Stay at home or seek medical attention if you feel unwell with symptoms like fever, cough, or difficulty in breathing. Avoid self-medication. Clean and disinfect surfaces like tables and railings you touch frequently. Avoid close contact with people who are sick and animals. If you notice any of the symptoms earlier mentioned, please report to any nearest health facility or call 0703-5211-919 or 0811-9696-110 or 0904-5575-515. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Information, Akwa Ibom State.